Paula, let's switch gears and let me ask you about a video that was shared by the President of the United States. It was shared by the President's son, Donald Trump Jr. It touted the use of hydroxychloroquine as one of those instances in the video, and also talked about the idea that people don't need to wear masks. The President also retweeted a message last night accusing Dr. Anthony Fauci of misleading the American public. Dr. Fauci was asked about those tweets in an interview this morning. Let me play it.
I don't know how to address that. I'm just going to certainly continue doing my job. I don't tweet. I don't even read them. So I don't really want to go there. I just will continue to do my job no matter what comes out, because I think it's very important. We're in the middle of a crisis with regard to an epidemic, a pandemic. This is what I do. This is what I've been trained for my entire professional life, and I'll continue to do it.
To the charge you've been misleading the American public?
I have not been misleading the American public under any circumstances.
Paula, what is the strategy here? I mean, Anne-Marie and I have talked about this. Clearly, the things that the president is tweeting, the things that the president is saying, the doubt that he is sowing among the American people when it comes to Dr. Fauci is having a real effect. This was one of the most viral videos yesterday before finally Facebook and others took it down. Why is he seeking to, why is he going after Dr. Fauci so much? Why is he being criticized so often?
Well, the president is going after Dr. Fauci indirectly these days, while publicly, when he's directly asked, he insists he really likes Dr. Fauci. They don't agree on everything. He'll usually remind you of some mistakes that Fauci made early on, and then he'll move along. But indirectly, there's other people here at this White House, including the White House trade advisor, Peter Navarro, who put out a scathing op-ed against Fauci a couple weeks ago. You don't do that here at the White House if you don't think you have the blessing of the president. We also know the White House press office pushed what many people interpreted to be opposition research on Fauci, unsolicited to some outlets, solicited by other outlets. That also highly unusual. There are these sort of indirect attacks not coming directly from the president, but here you see he's not directly tweeting, he's retweeting. It's clear that the president has an issue with Dr. Fauci, and many people have suggested that it is partly not motivated by disagreements over scientific topics, that it is at least partly motivated by some jealousy over the amount of limelight that Fauci has, over the broad trust that he really has of many Americans, and also his high approval rating. We even saw Fauci got to throw out the first pitch at the Nationals game. The president had the opportunity in some interviews to make fun of that pitch. He did not do that, but around that same time, he announced that he was going to throw out the first pitch at the Yankees game. But according to the New York Times, the Yankees knew nothing about that. It appeared again that he was a little bit jealous of all the attention that the doctor was getting. And so to respond to that, he undermines the public trust and likes to highlight mistakes that Fauci has made. Look, Fauci has made mistakes, but you know what? So have most of the other officials who have responded to this crisis, and no one has made more misstatements than the President of the United States when it comes to public statements from the White House on this virus. He insisted that it would disappear without a vaccine. He praised China on transparency. For some reason, he only wants to focus, though, on the misstatements from Dr. Fauci. And again, he's asked, he said they have a great relationship, but these indirect activities that have been undertaken by the Trump administration in relation to Dr. Fauci suggest a different kind of relationship.
And I do believe the president then canceled his opportunity to throw out the first pitch. Yankees were not aware of that, according to the reporting anyways. So let us switch topics a little bit. I want to talk about this Republican stimulus plan that we talked about earlier with Nancy Cordes. Included in that is $2 billion in funding for a new FBI building. What is that about?
Yeah, it's a great question. Even Mitch McConnell, who's been leading these negotiations yesterday, he was asked about that, and it was remarkable. He had to look at an assistant, and he said, what? That's in the bill? And the assistant confirmed yes. And then Mitch McConnell turned to reporters and pretty much threw the White House under the bus. He said, well, you'll have to ask the administration why they insisted that nearly $2 billion be included in a COVID response bill for a new FBI headquarters. I asked the White House. They said that this is consistent with the president's belief that the FBI needs a new headquarters. Anyone who's been to the Hoover building knows there's pieces of it that are falling off. It's a mess. They need a new headquarters. But that has nothing to do with COVID. And there's a lot of questions about why the administration prioritized this in an economic relief bill, especially when that specific construction project has been under investigation by the Justice Department's Inspector General over questions about whether President Trump has tried to improperly influence that project to help his hotel, his Trump Hotel, which is about a block away from the FBI. For a long time, there had been talk of moving the FBI headquarters out of D.C., selling that land to a developer, but there was a chance that that could have been sold to someone who would put a competing hotel in there. And the Inspector General is looking at whether the president, when this question got to his desk, whether he tried to improperly influence this deal. So it's just, there is an outstanding question today that I have not been able to get an answer to about why the administration, as Mitch McConnell says it, insisted that that funding go into a COVID relief bill when it has nothing to do with the pandemic, and unearths this whole controversy about the Trump Hotel and the FBI headquarters.
Paula, I'm so glad that you're digging into this and that you're reporting on this, because in any other time, in any other administration, this would be huge news. A president seeking to fund a project when the country is facing a national crisis. And I don't see it really playing out on other stations or other newspapers, so I really appreciate you digging in on this. Paula Reid for us at the White House. Thank you, Paula, as always.